How does someone politely end a conversation with a person who won't stop talking? Worst case I've ever had. I basically gave every verbal cue I knew of, eventually stood up, then stood in the doorway, then backed out of the doorway. And this dude was still talking. In the end I just said I'll be back and closed the door on him mid-sentence. Mental health worker here. I see patients every day who will talk forever. If you don't stop them, you simply have to interrupt and redirect / or end the conversation. I always politely tell them, let me stop you there, or let me jump in there. Sometimes you have to be abrupt or else you will be held hostage by the one-sided conversation. I'm an Uber driver. I was once summoned to pick up 2 people for just this reason. They had me drive 4 blocks / 25 miles / 5 minutes to another bar just to get out of a conversation with someone. Minimum fare $3, $75 and $10 tip on the app. And was getting a little chummy. When people get too chummy with me, I like to call them by the wrong name to let them know I don't really care. Ron Swanson. I read one of those mildly interesting newspaper features recently with an etiquette expert. Their advice was, rather than make an excuse, you should be more direct that you are ending the conversation and say something like, I've really enjoyed talking with you. I'm going to circulate around the room now as it's less likely to create an expectation you might come back. It does work too. We have a great line that we use in Ireland. I haven't heard it used abroad, but it could well be used all over for all I know. The person is rabbiting on and is showing no sign of stopping. You clearly and firmly say, I'll let you go. Then with the confidence of a person doing them a favor you turn on your heel and stride away. This has the effect of making them think you are the one wanting to avoid wasting their time. If they figure it out they can't call you out on it, because to do so would be to admit, at least to themselves, that they are wasting your time. In fact most people never allow themselves to think it might be them who is holding you up, so they accept the offer of your leaving in order for them to get on with their important work. In general if someone says I'll let you go to me, rare but it has happened, I smile and say bye and end the conversation. It is a social convention and I abide by it. They want out. No ego. Let them go, and the best of luck to them. People appreciate that I imagine. I used to work on a team with a guy who had Asperger's and some related issues processing social cues. He would get started on a subject and just talk at people for 30 minutes plus without pausing for breath. He didn't get the cues that people were losing interest and would continue indefinitely unless you directly interrupted and told him to stop. He wouldn't be offended and generally appreciated being told he should have stopped. It was almost a rite of passage in the office to endure an extended one-way lecture about his choice of bathroom tiles or the benefits of a weather road tires over winter tires, etc. I'll give the opposite advice. If you think your friends are always thirsty, have weak bladders, or get weird sudden strokes of to-do lists all the time, you talk too much. Edit. I'd thank you guys for the karma, but I've got to get a drink and a.p. like a lot. Also I just remembered I gotta call grandma. Listen for the briefest pause. When they talk BC they got a breath at some point and say, hey listen, I really gotta go to the bathroom, I've been holding it in forever and I might just shit right here. Voila. So this method is contextual, but I have found it works in a lot of situations. Especially in an office location. Or more generally in a location where the offending talker has a place to go back to. So this is how it works. Usually someone will come into my office and stand in the doorway and start talking. I listen politely for a bit, and then if they don't get the cues to leave, I do some obvious things. Like start working on my computer. And then playing on my phone. Just some physical social cues to let them know that this is over. But some PPL don't get that. So in those cases where it's happening, I casually stand up, let them continue the conversation, and sometimes I give them an oh yeah. And while walking out of my office, I walk to their office. And then, almost all of the time, they will go into their office first. And then they will sit down. That then gives me the ability to politely say something and leave their office. I call this method the walking them home method. Again, it can work anywhere. If a sibling is annoying you in your room, stand up and walk them towards their room, and they will migrate to their space. And then you leave. If you are at work, walk them to their space and let them settle, and then you leave. I use this method at least 3 times a week with some folks, and they literally have no idea. Tell them you are having a rather heavy period and must go to the restroom before you bleed all over yourself. And if you're a guy, I have a friend who does this, and he tends to drink a lot. It gets to the point where he literally will talk over you. I once sat on my phone while he talked to me for 5 hours straight. No joke. Didn't even pause. I was going to sleep on his couch once, and he kept talking. I was wrapped up in a blanket while he stood over me talking. I had to drive away and sleep in my car. This is a typical work day for him. On the weekends he'll stay up 2 days straight, drinking and talking. Sometimes he uses an app that'll connect him with random people to talk to. I think he needs a therapist. If you know them well enough, a hand on the arm or shoulder will get someone to stop talking long enough for you to make your exit. Not needed though. It's been so great talking to you, but I'm late for something. Right. Great. Listen, I gotta go wash my crotch. I'll see ya later. Edit. Obligatory thanks for the silver. Still don't understand it, but thanks anyway. I find myself leaning at a 45-degree angle, indicating the direction I'd like to go. Surgery. I'm late for surgery. It depends on the context. Like most things. Who is the person to you? Random person on the street. Just tell them you're busy and walk away. Coworker? Politely explain that they need to stop talking so you can work. Dude at the gym? Tell him you're going to do your set. If he still doesn't stop talking, just put your headphones on and start lifting. Generally, if it's someone you aren't going to see often, whether they think you're rude or not isn't really important. Just tell them you're busy and just walk away or continue what it is you were doing. If it's someone you see often / can't avoid, friend, coworker, classmate etc, tell them that they need to stop talking so you can do what you're meant to be doing. They probably aren't aware that they could be annoying people. They'd probably appreciate the wake-up call. These people are called astral vampires, but instead of sucking your blood, they suck your life force from you. Cast level 3 Death Watch to be sure. If not, find the Temple of the Serpent. The witch will tell you where to go. Godspeed my friend. If it's a phone call, start off every phone call with "Hey, my phone's kinda low on battery, so I don't have much time. What's up?" Then hang up whenever you want to. When you interject, make the first word you say very forceful and choose a reaffirming word like yes or great or an. Whatever you say next, make sure it is not argumentative so it can be assumed they agree. Edge away while you're still talking. I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me. Jerry, insert newly present friend name here, just showed his face, point stealthily, and that cavalier son of a bitch owes me money. Walk towards friend and loudly yell, "Jerry, how are you buddy?" Go into to hug with friend and whisper frown for a second in their ear. Should be awkward for the overtalker you just ditched, and they'll leave you and Jerry be. Actually, I've come to read your answers, even though I like listening. Sometimes could be exhausting, even when you are at work. In my case, I use the phrase "wow, that's pretty interesting. We should talk about this at the end of the day, but let me finish this." Sometimes it works. I had a friend who I used to talk on the phone with a lot, before texting became more popular. When one of us got tired of talking, we'd say, "Well, I'm gonna let me go now." It should work with someone you're friendly with, or a coworker, if you say it with a smile. If it's a stranger, and they think you're rude for saying it, what does it matter? In the grand scheme of things, not that rude. I wouldn't know, since I'm sadly the chatterbox. I'm really shy at first, but if you get me to start talking, You have already signed your grave. Woo, first Reddit post. Or comment. Still giving this a go. Bitch, slap them really hard. And then act like nothing happened. And they just stop talking for no reason. Deny everything and act like they are weird and walk away. Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe.